Tonight, from the silent expanse of space, a story of conflict and cover-up unfolds. High above Earth, commercial satellites orbit as the world's unblinking eyes. Their powerful lenses now capture more than just weather. They witness what nations want hidden. On a routine pass over the South China Sea, one satellite captured something extraordinary. The target Yulin Naval Base, Hainan Island, China's secretive stronghold for nuclear submarines and advanced warships. Access is forbidden, but the satellite's camera breached those defenses. The image it sent back was stunning. The sprawling docks, submarine pens, and most notably, a modern Chinese warship in dry dock, partially obscured but clearly damaged. This wasn't routine maintenance. The signs of violent impact were unmistakable. The photograph would soon become critical evidence in a tense international dispute. It was proof of a violent incident at sea, contradicting official denials. The silence of space had given voice to the truth. Unlike secret government satellites, this image came from a commercial company, destined for the public domain. The information couldn't be contained or classified. As analysts zoomed in, a story emerged. A high-stakes confrontation in one of the world's most contested waterways. A powerful nation hoped the incident would disappear, but the eye in the sky had seen everything. In the world of intelligence, whispers and shadows are common, but this was hard visual proof. The image was democratic, accessible, and impossible to ignore. The cover-up was about to unravel. The world would soon know what happened in the South China Sea. The truth was out, and it couldn't be hidden again. The vessel at the center of this storm was a Type 054A frigate, a symbol of China's naval ambitions. Satellite images told a clear story. The frigate's port side was crumpled by a massive dent. This was no minor scrape, it was the aftermath of a violent collision. Days earlier, China had denied any incident, blaming the Philippines for spreading rumors after a tense encounter near Scarborough Shoal. Official statements insisted Chinese ships acted professionally, but the damage was too significant to explain away. The photo was a smoking gun, physical proof that a collision had occurred, and that the Chinese warships suffered. Military analysts saw a goldmine. The location of the damage suggested a direct strike, likely during a risky maneuver. Emergency repairs, not routine maintenance, confirmed the severity. A warship meant to project strength was now exposed in vulnerability. The attempt to hide the damage was a desperate move to maintain an image of naval invincibility. In the age of information warfare, narratives are fiercely contested. China's story of professionalism clashed with the Philippines' claims of aggression. But now independent proof changed the game. The satellite photo validated the Philippine account and challenged Beijing's denials. The world could see for itself. Something had gone terribly wrong. The truth was undeniable. To understand the collision, we must look at Scarborough Shoal, Panatag Shoal to the Philippines. It's a triangle of reefs, 120 nautical miles from Luzon, a traditional fishing ground within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. For the Philippines, it's about sovereignty and survival. For China, it's Huangyan Island, a key point in its sweeping 9-line claim. Control over the shoal means control over vital shipping lanes and strategic dominance in the South China Sea. Tensions erupted in 2012 when China seized control after a standoff, blocking Filipino fishermen. Since then, Chinese vessels have patrolled the area, chasing away Philippine boats. The Philippines has tried to reassert its rights, sending Coast Guard and supply ships. China sees these missions as provocations. Each side views the other with suspicion and historical grievance. It's a dangerous game of cat and mouse, where a minor miscalculation can spark a major incident. In these contested waters, the rules are unclear and tensions run high. The recent collision was the latest flashpoint in a long, simmering conflict. History set the stage for disaster. The day began like many others at Scarborough Shoal. The Philippine Coast Guard's BRP Gabriela Silang patrolled to assert presence and support local fishermen. Soon it was confronted by a flotilla of Chinese vessels, Coast Guard cutters and a Type 054A frigate. The Chinese ships shadowed and boxed in the Philippine vessel, performing aggressive maneuvers. Over the radio, stern warnings were exchanged. China demanded withdrawal. The Philippines stood firm. The standoff escalated as Chinese ships swarmed the lone Philippine vessel. Then, the Chinese frigate made a sharp, risky turn to cut off the Philippine ship. The captain miscalculated. The frigate's bow slammed into the BRP Gabriela Silang. The impact was violent, alarms blared, and sailors were thrown off balance. Both ships sustained damage, but the Chinese frigate took the brunt. After the collision, Chinese vessels briefly pulled back. Tense silence followed, broken only by radio static. The confrontation had crossed a dangerous line. It was no longer just a standoff. It was a physical clash between two nations' armed vessels. The stakes had suddenly become much higher. The world was watching. In the aftermath, two stories emerged. The Philippines acted transparently, releasing video and photos of the incident and filing a diplomatic protest. Their message: they were victims of unprovoked aggression in their own waters. China, meanwhile, denied any collision, accusing the Philippines of fabricating the story. State media painted the Philippines as a troublemaker, stirring conflict with US backing. The world faced a classic he said, she said scenario. Allies called for de-escalation but without proof, took no sides. China relied on its global influence and the difficulty of proving events at sea, but the satellite images broke the deadlock. The photo of the damaged frigate contradicted Beijing's denial. The attempt to control the story failed. The truth was now visible to all. The conflict isn't just about ships, it's a legal battle. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, defines maritime zones and rights. Scarborough Shoal lies within the Philippines' EEZ, forming the basis of its claim. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled in favor of the Philippines, declaring China's 9-line invalid. China rejected the ruling, insisting on historical rights and direct negotiations. This puts China's interpretation of history above international law. The collision is significant. The Philippines sees its patrols as upholding the law. China sees them as violations. Each maneuver and collision is another chapter in the struggle between law and ambition. The legal battle shapes every encounter at sea. The world watches as international law is tested. The stakes are not just territorial, they're about the rules that govern the seas. The outcome will set a precedent for future disputes. The image of the damaged frigate did more than expose a lie. It dented China's image of naval invincibility. For years, Beijing has invested heavily in its navy, projecting power and technological superiority. But the collision raised questions about the professionalism of its crews. A modern warship should avoid such incidents, even in tense standoffs. The event suggests either poor judgment or a command culture that encourages risky behavior. For a navy aspiring to rival the US, this is a major embarrassment. The incident also exposes the risks of China's gray zone tactics. Operating on the edge invites accidents. When a warship is involved, the stakes are higher and escalation more likely. The failed cover-up damages China's credibility as a responsible power. Denying an easily proven incident makes Beijing appear deceptive. The dent in the frigate's bow is now a symbol of a dent in China's reputation. Projecting power requires more than hardware, it demands trust and respect. The world is taking note. This episode marks a revolution in geopolitics, the rise of commercial satellite imagery. Once only superpowers had access to views from space. Now, private companies provide high-resolution images to anyone. This democratizes intelligence, making it harder for nations to hide their actions. Journalists and activists can access imagery once reserved for top-secret agencies. Military transparency is now the norm. Cover-ups are harder to maintain. Governments can no longer control the narrative by controlling information. A single satellite image can cut through propaganda and reveal the truth. In the South China Sea, the photo of the damaged frigate was an objective referee. Of course, this technology is a double-edged sword. Secrecy is harder for all. Images can be misinterpreted or manipulated, but overall, satellite imagery is a force for accountability. It levels the playing field, giving smaller nations and the public a tool to challenge the powerful. The unblinking lens of the satellite is now essential for holding governments to account. The truth is just a click away. The story of the damaged warship exposed by a camera in space offers powerful lessons. In our connected world, the truth finds a way out. Technology makes secrecy harder. Commercial satellites provide timely, objective evidence. Actions have consequences. This is a new deterrence, the deterrence of discovery. The South China Sea remains a flashpoint. One miscalculation can spark conflict. The incident is a wake-up call for clear rules and de-escalation mechanisms. International law remains crucial. The 2016 ruling is a powerful tool for Manila. Respect for a rules-based system is the only way to resolve disputes peacefully. The view from space has given us clarity, cutting through propaganda. This is more than a story about a damaged ship, it's about technology holding the powerful to account. It's about a smaller nation standing up for its rights. And it's about the enduring importance of a world governed by laws, not force. As satellites continue their watch, hiding the truth becomes ever harder.